They must be selling copium on the discount rack right now. Charlize Theron on this Call Her Daddy podcast. Boy, I've never seen a woman so proud to be a bop. Just admitting her bop lore on full display. I got a banger from Piers Morgan Uncensored. Let's get straight into it.
I want to just look at them and just be like, do you know how it is to live exactly how I want to live?
Selfish, bro. This is a grown woman with kids. So selfish.
To experience motherhood exactly how I wanted to experience it. And I know the next thing they say is well, that's not fair on your kids. Can I tell you something? That will be their story to tell. I can't tell you.
Man, I'm just going to give them trauma and they got to deal with it. Man, such a good mom, right?
I can only tell you that this is the best way that I know how to be a mother to them.
You're and maybe a liar!
They'll grow up and tell their story, and I will respect that.
Well, she also wanted audiences to know how liberating it is for her children not to have a father.
I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I love that I don't have to, oh my God, I fucking love that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And my children, we joke, listen, I think you can tell, this is how I raise my kids. Yeah. Right? We don't hide this shit.
Yikes. Let's just look at some stats real quick. FixFamilyCourts.com did this, and it's really alarming. And I like to dive into this just to show you guys how bad it is for single moms to do this on their own, right? 63% of youth suicides, 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 85% of all children who show behavior disorders, 80% of R-words with anger problems, 71% of all high school dropouts, 75% for adolescent patients in chemical abuse, 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions, and 85% of all youth sitting in prisons grow up in fatherless homes. You're doing such a great job, Charlize. You're doing just keep it up, girl. Keep it up. You know what dictates a woman's worth as a wife and a mother? The man that she can keep. Being a single mom, no badge of honor in that. No badge of honor in that. I'm sorry, Charlize, there's just no badge of honor. So don't be proud of that. Be ashamed.
This in perspective. I've probably had 3 one-night stands in my entire life.
Okay. Whoa.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
Imagine your mom on a podcast admitting that. You gotta love it.
But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old, and it was really fucking amazing.
Fuck yes.
Yes, and I've never done that. And I was like...
And see these women being like, yes, queen. The echo chamber of delusion. Lord have mercy.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
Let me just say, that 26-year-old is the luckiest fucking man walking on this goddamn planet. He's walking different today, knowing, oh my God.
He for sure is not, but thank you.
No, he is.
Well, I mean, what a story to tell your homies. Yeah, man, so I just bucked Charlize Theron. No way, dude. I mean, I got her way past her prime, dude, but I still got in her cuts like a surgeon, bruh.
So it's been viewed by nearly 1 million people so far. Reaction has been divided between those who celebrate Charlize as, quote, a powerful badass, epitome of a strong woman fighting against the evil patriarchy, and others who, in equally strident language, view the whole episode as yet another example of modern feminist media denigrating the role of men at every given opportunity, all of which makes it a good starting point for a lively debate. Well, joining me for this battle of the sexes, host of the Crucible podcast, Andrew Wilson, who I could imagine was visibly shuddering as he listened to those clips. Jedediah Byler, who's the host of the Jedediah Byler Show, commentator and author of The Case for Cancel Culture, Ernest Owens, and the editor of the User Mag newsletter, Taylor Lorenz. Well, welcome to all of you. And Jedediah, welcome to you especially, because you're making your uncensored debut. We always like debutantes. I'm always astonished.
Thank you very much, Piers.
Hey, Piers, man, have me on, brother. Come on now, get the Levi Nichs on there.
Always astonished when people come back for more. But thank God they do. And thank God Andrew Wilson does. Andrew, your thoughts on Charlize Theron? She doesn't need a man. She likes banging 26-year-olds when she feels like it. You don't need fathers in life. You just need a strong, badass woman.
Well, it's really funny. The reason nobody cares really very much when a 40-year-old attractive woman has sex with some random young man is because it's not impressive. It's impressive when men can bang young women because most men can't bang young women, but most older women can bang young men. So it's just not an impressive accomplishment. Of course, these are the same women who will screech because, Leonardo DiCaprio decides that he wants to change up at 25 years old, any of the broads he has hanging around. But this is not an impressive accomplishment. All a woman needs to do to get laid is go somewhere where there's men and offer it up. It's not the case for men. So it's an unimpressive accomplishment on its face. As to the rest of what she's saying, this is just normal tripe, right? Her kids are the ones who are going to get punished. They're always the ones who get punished. We can look at the data for outcomes on children who are raised in single mother homes. It's not good. It's not good for their mental health. It's not. And by the way, the rates of abuse from having strange men around skyrocket. Yep. Terrible idea. And it's exactly the wrong kind of propaganda to be pushing.
All right, Taylor Lorenz, isn't it just a factual reality of life that women are predominantly happier with a man by their side and children are predominantly better off in life with a present father?
I think, listen, children are better off in life when they have a loving household, and not all of those households have fathers. I mean, there are
oh my God.
You stupid.
Lesbian parents. There are, different types of arrangements. I think it's important for kids to have
Andrew's face, right?
different figures in their life who they can look up to. I think it's really important to expose kids to all different types of figures, but that doesn't have to be, like a man.
Yeah, let's expose our kids to levels of degeneracy that they should not know at their age. Let's take them to nudist beaches. Let's take them to, brothels in Germany where they can see these AI robot dolls. Let's expose them to everything. Like, that logic is so flawed.
Gender man that's standing around all the time. There's plenty of terrible fathers out there too. So I think it's great that the child is growing up in a loving household, and hopefully, she'll expose the child to lots of different types.
Yeah, but can you acknowledge that we have now been studying this phenomenon of single motherhood for years and years and years, and that the outcomes for children of single mothers tend to be terrible in comparison to the outcomes of children without them? Can you just acknowledge that that is true?
So I think what you're talking about are studies.
I'm asking a question. Don't run from the question. Yes or no? I want you to acknowledge with a yes or no, then a qualifier. Yes or no? Isn't it true that outcomes for children when they're raised by single mothers tend to be worse than those with a mother and a father in the house? Yes or no? Then give me your answer.
So I'd love to respond if you stop talking over me. Anyway, most single mothers are not Charlize Theron with millions and millions and millions of dollars. So when you look at studies like that, a lot of it has to do with the economic opportunities that a lot of single mothers have. Women make less than men as a whole. They're subject to more sexism and
false pay gap. No, if that was the case, every company would just hire women.
discrimination. So it can often be more challenging for them to raise a child alone.
So the answer is yes.
No, the answer is Charlize Theron.
It sounds like you just said that the answer is yes. The answer, according to you just now, is yes.
No, any single
and then you just
parent,
make excuses for it. You're like, yes,
Taylor, this is
because
not.
women are
right now. This is so weird. You're like shouting at
Yeah,
me.
you've never had somebody push back on your stupid beliefs. I know, crazy concept, right? She didn't realize she was playing with fire with Andrew, bro. You gonna talk some nonsense out the side of your neck? You better be ready.
Can I jump in here,
well, do
Pierce?
you know what it
Yeah,
is?
okay, let's bring, hang on, time out. Let's bring in Jedediah.
Taylor, this is not rocket science. First of all, you lost me at cis male. You just meet a guy, just a man, right? We don't need all these terms, these nonsensical, ridiculous terms that, modern leftists have come up with. It's just a man. Children do better when there is a mom and there is a dad. And the reason is that men and women are completely different. They bring very different things to the table. And children need the role model of a mom and a dad, not just people around. Sure, you can have aunts, you can have uncles, you can have friends, but we're talking about the two individuals that are raising a child.
No, I don't think lesbians, because they're both feminine, right? You need to have a man with testosterone and a woman with estrogen. Chat, put a one in the chat if you agree that you need a man and a woman. We're better together, and together we're better. We're both different, but equal at the same time. We bring different things to the table. Men are more logical. Women are more emotional. Women are more nurturing. Men are stronger. Like, that's just part of it. You need both. It's a great combination. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's a really good combo. You know what I mean? It's a really good combo. It's like pepperonis on pizza. Great combo. Some of you guys might not like it. So like, I'm a cheese guy myself. It's a good combo. And even in lesbian relationships, there's always a masculine-facing woman and then a feminine-facing woman as well. So even in lesbian relationships, and chat, put a one in the chat if you agree. Even in lesbian relationships, they're still adhering to traditional gender roles. One of them looks more masculine and one of them looks more feminine. So deep in your bones, you realize that you guys still need to kind of look different. A lot of times you don't see two feminine women in a lesbian relationship. It's just not the case, dude. It's not the case.
Lesbians
And
are
let me just
happy.
ask you this question. Wait, I'm not done yet. You complained that Andrew interrupted you, and now you just interrupted me. I'm not done yet. Charlize Theron, you're right. She is rich. She has a ton of money. But what example do you think she's sending to young women everywhere that this is somehow empowering, that you should strive, by the way, you should strive to be the single mom because you don't have to deal with a guy. You don't have to answer to a man. Oh, isn't that so wonderful? And guess who'll pay the price? My kid. She even says, my kids can tell their story. How unbelievably selfish of her to say.
Facts. Hey, I preached to Jebediah. I think that's her name.
My children will one day to get to tell a story that they had no father because I decided that I just wanted to do this myself. Me, myself, and my money. Is that the message?
I wanted to go
should
hump
be sending to
26-year-olds.
young women?
They're lesbian. They shouldn't be able to raise children. You need a man. What about women that
We're
raise
not
children?
talking about Taylor. No one said what
Talking
should
about
be
single
allowed. I'm not
moms.
talking about.
Well, tell you what I
legal.
find. Tell you what I find
Oh
strange.
yeah, and this is a typical case of moving the goalposts. Well, what about lesbos? We're not talking about lesbos. Ain't that right, Loki? I've fallen at work and been injured. Oh wait, I should call my lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
Hey, John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. It's Levi Nichs of YouTube. Can I get some cash, please?
Morgan & 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 Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $20 billion for their clients. $20 billion? That's a lot of cash. The insurance companies tried to lowball me, but Morgan & Morgan was able to take my pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. It's almost a good thing I was injured. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan gonna cost me? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful. So it's completely free unless you win? Yeah. Hiring a lawyer? That sounds like really difficult. It's actually super easy. You can just go to their website, and in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. And you can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there is only one Morgan & Morgan. Wait, it's two names though. How is it? Give me the script. Oh, both their last names. Okay, I get it. Okay, roll it. You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Levi, found in the description below. So if you're injured, you can trust Morgan & Morgan. There's my boy.
Aww. It's my little Bobby. My little Bobby boy, yeah. Little Bobby. He's such a good boy.
Such a good boy. Let's get back into this nonsense, brother.
Strange. What I find strange is I know Charlize a bit when she was dating Sean Penn, and thought she was very nice, but she was always very elegant. If you interviewed her, her whole thing was high-end, elegant, all the highest-end advertising and so on. And then you see her there in this podcast, and she's like effing and blinding, talking about banging 26-year-olds. Very, very different, Ernest, to the Charlize Theron I thought I knew. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or whatever, but I do wonder if it was a male movie star sitting on a sofa brazenly boasting about banging 26-year-olds. How old is Charlize? 50. If a 50-year-old male star was boasting about banging 26-year-old girls, right, and he was boasting about not needing a woman in his life, not needing a mother, all these kind of things, but in reverse, I don't think you'd be approving of this, Ernest. Tax day has passed, but for me,
he's got a point there. He's got a point. If it was Leo up there talking about all this stuff, they would not be having it, brother. They would not be having it.
Actual shock and awe over Charlize Theron, because a lot of women actually her age don't feel the liberty to do that on a public facing platform.
Yeah, because they're not her. They're not millionaires. They're not like Charlize Theron. She still looks pretty good. Like a lot of 50-year-olds look 50.
And so that's why we're talking about her. We don't talk about men who do it often on here because it's so norm. I mean, if you look at who's in politics currently right now, they were just doing it their entire career before they got to the White House. So it's not that much of a shock. There's a guy who got elected president.
Yeah, and you screamed bloody murder about it.
And got elected. And so...
And you screamed bloody murder about it. What are you
Ernest,
talking about? Hang on. You liberals said that was the most horrible thing. He was a terrible role model. How could he? And here's Charlize Theron is saying this, and you're like, she's an empowered boss babe, Andrew. Come on.
You go. See, if I talk over him, Pierce would be ready to tell me to be quiet and get
You were done talking, dude. You were done talking.
Come on,
no,
Ernest.
I wasn't done talking. Actually, can I actually talk?
Oh, man.
You can, Ernest. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So what I was getting at is that there is a double standard. And I think, honestly, like I said before, I don't know what liberal he's talking about, but I was not a liberal that said that Trump talking about grab her by the pussy was the worst thing he ever said, because there's a lot of other things he has said that I believe is far worse and actually should cause more attention.
I'm sorry, but just this guy's presence and having medals behind him and like these little plaques, it's like a glorified high schooler. Look at all my awards. Bro, nobody cares. Unless you got a Grammy or an Oscar, nobody cares, bro. Actually, look at me. I'm over here with the subscriber play button.
Shots fired!
Oh my God.
Stupid.
Look at me. Nobody cares about your award. Got the play button right there. Oh my God. But I feel like this is different. Like people get this one. Like all these ones that he's sitting behind, I feel like nobody gets. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just making excuses, chat. What do y'all think? Am I way off base here?
That being said, I just feel like the only reason why we're talking about it is because women like Charlize Theron often don't do this on a normal. So it feels abnormal, and that's why we're discussing it.
Okay,
Ernest,
Andrew.
Why do these libs talk out of both sides of their mouth? I mean, look at it. She refused to acknowledge the outcomes for single moms. Pivots immediately.
Let's be clear.
Hang on.
Let's be clear.
Immediately.
No.
Hang on. Immediately. Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. If you have progressive talking points, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I call it a duck. So the thing is, right? The libs on the panel very clearly, right? She evades the answer, refuses to give us the answer of if outcomes for children of single moms are worse, refuses, gives us a bunch of qualifiers proving that they are, still refuses to do it. He says, well, this is so commonplace for men. Look at the sexual deviant that we have in the White House, and says, but I'm not throwing a fit about that. I'm not throwing a fit about that, though. Yeah, they did throw a fit about it.
Ineffective discussion. This man is just talking over everyone. Like he's very emotional.
It's an ineffective
right
discussion.
now.
I would like you,
there it is. The shame, the insult, the guilt, the need to be right. He's emotional.
Just like you to actually answer the questions I ask you. Why can't you people ever do that?
I have a question for Ernest.
This show anymore, I guess. Go ahead.
Ernest, you said there was. Hold on a second, guys. Ernest, you said there was a double standard. What are you, in your view, where is the double standard? Because I see a double standard here, but I think we see a different double standard.
Cool. So what I was saying was the double standard reaction, right? There is a lot of reaction because of what Charlize Theron said. I'm saying that I understand where that is coming from, because we don't often see women like Charlize Theron on these platforms talking about their sexuality in this way.
But it's celebrated. Ernest, that's not true. But here's the difference. Every time a man says, a guy can't even say that he prefers younger women. He can't even say, well, you know what? I prefer younger women because of their fertility is better, because they're in their peak attractiveness, because I want to have a bunch of kids and it gives me more time, without getting completely trashed.
Let's be clear. Hang on. Let's be clear. If Brad Pitt came out with an interview tomorrow on Uncensored, and I hope he does. If you're watching Brad, my show is always available to you. But if he was, and he said, do you know what? Just only last week, I had the most unbelievable sex with a hot 26-year-old, right? Do you think the reaction, Ernest, would have been widespread applause for this guy? Or would it have been, you dirty old man? No. I'm not saying that I feel that about Charlize Theron. I'm just saying that's the double standard, right? Leo DiCaprio gets mocked at every award show because he dates women half his age. Now it's Charlize Theron. Everyone's like, oh, this is amazing.
Years.
A man would have been called a groomer.
I can give you an example where that backfired. So let me be very clear. So let me give you a good example of this, actually.
Even if it is a great example, a stunning example, the exception never makes the rule.
First of all, it's if it's a pattern, right? Charlize Theron is not doing this on the regular. That's why this is a big news story. She's been mostly in long-term relationships. She does not have a habit of doing this. Leonardo DiCaprio's entire a lot of his romantic history has been this pattern, which has become a running joke. The first couple years he did it, no one cared. But it's been decades, like over like
Ernest,
10
that's
years.
not why that's not why it's a news story. With respect,
that's your opinion.
First of all, both of those things have been covered in the news. But the reason, what Pierce is getting at, I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth. This is being celebrated. Do you understand the difference? Modern feminism has made it so that we now celebrate that Charlize Theron. And by the way, I don't give a lick. Honestly, it's consensual. I don't care if she sleeps with a 26-year-old.
And by the way, there are a lot of 26-year-old men who will be absolutely thrilled that she's on the.
Bro, if I was 26 and she was knocking on my door, I probably would have done it just for the lore.
That's correct.
Like, do it for the storyline, bro.
I mean,
right.
there will be.
And I don't care either. We can agree there. But I'm smart enough to acknowledge that she is being celebrated for that action, whereas a Leonardo DiCaprio or the average guy, for that matter, just saying, hey, I prefer a 22-year-old to a 32-year-old, will get destroyed in every possible
you know what? I actually
Fact.
have no problem with what she said about a 26-year-old. That's entirely down to her. She's a single woman. She can have sex with who the hell she likes if it's consenting an adult. I do, though, have a problem with, and Andrew was, I think, right about this. In a way, what she's saying is all your quaint ideas about you need a bloke around, you need a father, you need a husband, that's all bullshit. Look at me. I'm proof it's all great. I don't believe women when they say that. I don't believe men when they say the same thing. You know, I just think that actually the ideal is that you have a man and woman around kids and they bring them up together. And if that isn't possible and it doesn't work out, okay, you make it work. But to actually try and pretend this is actually utopia and this is the best possible thing for your kids, I don't think that's true. I say that as a divorce.
I agree with Pierce on that. The problem with modern day feminism is that they promote single motherhood. They're promoting that it's cool to be alone. It's hip to be alone. You can get government assistance to be alone. You can get Section 8, food stamps, EBT. You can get help from the government being alone. And they're so, like, single women are so celebrated. Like, I'm single and independent. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need a man. There's no male equivalent for that. What am I, a strong, independent man? I don't need a woman? Like, bro, no man says that. And we celebrate women for doing the basic things that we think every man should have to do. Like, a woman who achieves the bare minimum of a man is celebrated as a woman. Oh, great job, queen. You have a job and you pay your own bills. Great job. Whereas a guy, he can have a job and pay his own bills and women will still call him a bum because he doesn't make six figures. He doesn't have a nice car. He doesn't have his own house. He doesn't have assets. He rents an apartment. Like, just think about this. A man has his own car. He drives a Honda Civic. He has his own apartment. He has an okay job, right? He's making $80K a year. Most women would be like, he needs to make more money. On the flip side, a woman, she drives the same car, has the same apartment, works the same job. They're like, yes, queen. Yes, get your own money. Yeah, like, what? That's what's so crazy to me. That's why I think a lot of men are just checking out. They're done with it. They're over it. They're done being shamed for being exceptional men when women think that they can do the same things and just get it shouted from the rooftops. Oh my God, you're so great. When men are actually being exceptional, they're paying their own bills. They're doing everything that you strong, independent women want to do that we celebrate. Let's start celebrating men that are doing this stuff too. Having their own job, having their own place, having their own car. Let's start celebrating that. If you ladies started doing it, I bet more men want to come over and start dating y'all. Ain't that right, Lokes? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It was good to have you guys out, man. Until next time. Peace.